Well, this is the Beckley House, and this is all of the furnishings that it was actually used by Will and Leva Beckley. This is what they lived with. So the piano and everything came from the family, and they gave it to us when they gave us the house. Now, if we walk back here, I can show you some of the rest of the house here.
All right, let's go.
But if we come back here, we also have the kitchen. When they first moved in here, they didn't have an icebox, they didn't have a refrigerator, they had what was actually an icebox. This right here. And you would actually have a chunk of ice and it would be delivered to you. It'd be put right in this compartment, and then your food went in on the other side. And that was the only way of keeping it cool. But even before we got an ice plant here, we had something else that would keep food cool. And that's this. This is called a desert cooler. And a desert cooler is one where you put water on the top in the can up here. You'd have little holes in the bottom of the can, and the water would just seep out into the burlap here. As it came down the burlap, it would evaporate. As it evaporated, it took some of the heat out of the air, and it would stay about 15 degrees cooler in here than in the outer area, in the regular room. So you could actually keep your eggs and your butter and that for a little while longer than just keeping it out. And when it's 120 degrees outside, you want something to cool it off a little bit. Now you notice that it's sitting in cans. You put water in the cans, and that kept bugs from coming up from the ground. If bugs crawled up and got in there, they'd die in the water. That was the whole idea. These are the Beckleys. This was actually the family that owned the house. Will Beckley had the men's store downtown, and Leva Beckley, his wife, was very involved with founding a lot of local organizations and that, but this was her home. This is where she lived for all of her life here until 1979. So, this is some of the things that were hers. This is a pair of her shoes. So what you call high button shoes. Can you imagine wearing those with all those buttons on it? It does take a little while. But those were actually her shoes. You can tell she had fairly small feet also.
I think I saw some more clothes like that in the closet.
I think you're right. Let's go take a look. This is a closet. That's a steamer trunk in there. A steamer trunk is one where you could pack all of your clothes when you're going for a long tour somewhere or a vacation. You can imagine you can put quite a few clothes in something like that with all the drawers and everything in it. And then we have the bathroom over here. Always have to have a bathroom. We had indoor plumbing at that point. And this is kind of nice because you have the old clawfoot tub in there. That's a cast iron tub.
Doesn't look much different from what we have today.
No, it doesn't.
Except for the toilet, of course.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. And the heater. You see the heater down there on the floor?
That looks more like a fan. There are more than just 100-year-old homes on Heritage Street.
This is a paper cutter. You don't want to put your fingers in there because this thing will cut that much paper. So your hand is not going to survive, so people don't play with this one.
Yep, you heard that right, but don't be scared. We'll show you the antique printing equipment used long before the word computer was even invented. That's coming up as Raina's Vegas Adventures travels back in time at the Clark County Museum. It only takes 4 of these to get to the Clark County Museum.